This is Joy Roland, and you are listening to the Joyful Money Podcast. This is episode number 61. Start thriving instead of just surviving. Welcome to Joyful Money, the podcast where we focus on making money fun and joyful. We're done with the stress and anxiety that typically come with money. This podcast will teach you how to make money, lots and lots of it, and still be joyful, happy, abundant, and fulfilled. Because let's face it, money is just a small part of life. Are you ready to add more joy to your money? In. Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode number 61 of the Joyful Money Podcast. So excited to be recording this episode for you today. I hope you're doing very well. I hope you and your family are doing well. I am doing very well. I spend my day when I wake up doing some gratitude because it just sets me up for the day. And so I have a lot to be grateful for. And like I always say, please don't wait until November when it's Thanksgiving Day to give thanks. Make gratitude your lifestyle. Okay. Now, just a quick reminder that you still have the chance to enter into my $1,000 cash giveaway. The winner will be announced here on this podcast on May 20th, on Monday. So listen out for that to see if you have won. If you haven't left me a review yet, please go ahead and leave me a review. I'm going to add the link to the show notes so you can see how to enter the giveaway. Okay, so today, on today's episode, I want to talk to you about thriving instead of just surviving. And the idea for this episode came when I just sat and I looked at the number of people who are constantly chasing money. And even with the constant chase of money, it doesn't feel like they're making any progress in their lives. It's the same old paycheck to paycheck, thousands of dollars in credit card debt and struggling with money over and over. And it seems like they are stuck in this cycle of struggling with money, of just having enough to get by. And I wanted to create this episode to give you a blueprint of how you can stop just surviving day to day and actually start thriving. Now, if you are tired of just surviving day to day, feeling like life is passing you by, then it's time to shift that because our greatest asset is our time, the time God has given us. And if you're not careful, you would constantly be in this mindset of wanting more, right? Obviously, you're ambitious. That's why you're listening to this podcast. I am ambitious as well. But if you're not careful, you get stuck in that phase of constantly wanting for more, constantly trying to achieve more, and then almost living in denial and losing the essence of life, the beauty of life. And then you get to maybe 50, 60, or 70, and then you start asking, what have I done with my life? I don't want that to be you. And so I want you to listen very carefully to this episode and apply what I'm going to teach you in very short amount of time. I'm going to spend a few minutes on this topic. Apply this to your life so you can start thriving instead of just surviving. Now, you want your life to be filled with purpose, passion, and fulfillment. You want to feel like you are making a contribution to life. You don't just want to go through the motions of life, wake up, make breakfast for the family, go to work, go pick the kids from school, come back home, make dinner, go to bed. And then you do that over and over, over and over, over and over. And before you know it, you're 60. Okay? I don't want that to be you. So What's the difference between surviving and thriving? Surviving is just doing enough to get by. Surviving is just going through the day and just going through the emotions. But thriving isn't just about success in one aspect of your life. It's about creating a good balance between all areas of your life. So, your finances, your relationships, your family, your faith, fitness, having everything in balance and enjoying the process and enjoying life and actually experiencing life. So, not allowing life to just happen to you and then you react to life, but actually experiencing life and being conscious in the decisions you make day to day as it affects your life. So, how do you start thriving instead of just merely surviving? Now, the first step I think is to know, believe, and appreciate that security doesn't come from money in and of itself. Okay? Because many times people have this at the back of their minds, oh, if only I could be earning $500,000 per year, I will be so happy. If only I could be earning $1 million per year, my life will be perfect. But security is not in the money. And you can see the proof of this with life, right? Like we hear in the news, we see everywhere people who their lives look good on paper, right? But they still struggle. They are not happy. They are not fulfilled, even though they have hundreds of millions of dollars. Okay, so I want you to believe, to know, like, it's okay to say, oh, yeah, I know security is not in money, but do you truly believe it? In your subconscious, do you believe that money doesn't equal security? Now, don't get me wrong, right? There is an amount of money you need to survive because society works by money. We need money to eat, we need money to pay our mortgages, we need money to pay our children's school fees. So we need money, but security is not in the money. Now, here is one thought that really helps me. I know in my subconscious that I will always have what I need. I have exactly what I need right now, and I will always have what I need. That takes the pressure off. It takes the pressure off because you don't have to have all of the answers right now. You don't have to have all of the $1 million in your account right now. Just the mere fact that you believe and you know that as you go through life, you will always have what you need. You will always have the amount of money you need. Now, this security actually comes, for me personally, it comes from my faith. It comes from my faith in God. My security is in God, not in the millions of dollars in my net worth. No, I don't place my security in that. My security is in God. So it's very important that if you want to stop surviving, you want to stop merely surviving through life and you want to thrive, it's very important to define exactly where your security is. Your security shouldn't be money, okay? Now, step number two is to choose to be happy every day. Yes, happiness is a choice. Happiness is a feeling you can choose to feel at any given time of the day. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that if you're going through difficult circumstances, let's say you lose your job, for example, God forbid. But let's say you lose your job, for example. I'm not saying, oh, go dancing on the street and telling everyone I'm happy. No. I'm saying that on balance, you can choose to be happy and say to yourself, I am going to be happy. Whatever life throws at me, I choose to be happy. And research has found that they could actually tell, so neuroscientists could actually tell by looking at the brain when someone is happy. There is a section of your brain that lights up when you are in that space of gratitude and happiness. And that section of your brain that lights up actually gives you additional capacity for um, more expanded high level thinking. So when you're in that state of gratitude and thanksgiving and happiness, your brain is actually more receptive to ideas that can progress your life forward. So, for example, if you were feeling blue, if you were feeling down, for example, I can bet you that's not the best time you have good ideas for your business. Just notice this going forward. When you're feeling down, depressed, anxious, that's not the time you have good ideas for your business. The good ideas for your business comes when that section of your brain for gratitude, happiness, thanksgiving, when that section of your brain lights up, it actually gives your brain additional capacity to think thoughts and come up with ideas that will move you forward. So, choosing to be happy is not just good for your emotional state, it's good for advancing your life, it's good for making progress in your business, it's good for making more money. Surprise, surprise. All right? So, we're talking about thriving instead of surviving. And now we're seeing that when you're in that state of happiness, you're actually more likely to come up with better ideas for your business. How cool is that? So, being choosing to be happy and joyful isn't just good for your mental and emotional well-being, it's also good for your bank account. Surprise, surprise. Okay. So the next point I want to tell you about is to define your financial freedom number. So I go through this process with my clients, my private clients, but this is something you can do for yourself. Find what your freedom number is. The reason why this is so important is if you don't have a defined financial freedom number, you just keep chasing the impossible. You just spend your entire life chasing a moving goalpost. Can you imagine playing football and the goalpost keeps moving every single time? How are you going to win? So defining if your financial freedom number is very, very critical in building wealth and in making sure that you enjoy the process, in making sure that you know what the end goal is. So you might ask, what is financial freedom number? Well, your financial freedom number is the amount of money you need to cover your living expenses and to sustain your desired lifestyle without relying on traditional job or a paycheck. So, most likely, this financial freedom will come from the income from passive income streams. So, the income from your stocks, income from your rental properties or real estate investments, income from your royalties. Let's say you have books written or you have songs that you have title over, and the royalties that come from all of the work you've done upfront. So it doesn't require you being there physically, it doesn't require you spending any additional time. The income you get from your passive investments, if that income can sustain the lifestyle you want, then you are financially free. So, your assignment is to look at your expenses. Now, maybe you want to take a pen and paper and say, okay, what are my essential living expenses? This would include housing, food, transportation, healthcare, and other necessities. And then factor in lifestyle. For example, if you want to travel, if you want entertainment, hobbies, factor in everything you want, right? And then put a number, add all those numbers together. What does it come to in a month in expenses? And then go to your passive investments. So go to your stocks, your rental properties, go to your real estate investments, and tally up all of the passive income that come from those every single month. Now compare the two numbers. That total of your expenses is your financial freedom number. That is the amount that you need to be earning from your passive investments in order to be work optional. When I say work optional, I mean you don't have to go to work. You don't have to actually have a 9 to 5 job. Well, I intend to keep working until I die because I love what I do. And it's not just about the money anymore, it's about the impact I'm having. So at least you'll be work optional. You don't have to work unless you want to. So that's your financial freedom number. And remember that your financial freedom number is not set in stone. It may evolve over time as your circumstances and priorities change. So ultimately, knowing your freedom number isn't about just accumulating wealth. It's about reclaiming your time, reclaiming your autonomy, reclaiming your happiness, and knowing that you have a goal you're working towards. Because otherwise, like I said, you will just keep working and the goalpost will keep moving, and you would lose the essence of life, which is our faith, our family, and all the nature we have around us, and enjoying all the blessings we have instead of constantly chasing money, constantly chasing more money, more wealth. Okay, and that's how you have a balanced life. That's how you have total freedom, and you're not overwhelmed. You're not feeling like you're losing out. You're not comparing yourself with other people, because that's what I see many people do. They keep comparing themselves with other people. Well, my neighbor has a bigger house, now I want a bigger house. My neighbor has a bigger car, now I want a bigger car. But if you look and you look at the research that's been done, all of those things will not give you happiness. So I want you to be very clear on what you are trying to achieve in life, so that you go through life a happy person. You go through life enjoying all of the blessings you have already. Somebody defined happiness, and I was listening to another podcast today. I can't remember the specific podcast. Well, I love podcasts, right? And I have one too. So he said that the definition of happiness is wanting what you already have. Wanting what you already have. So, for example, if you have a 3 bedroom house, happiness is generating want and desire for what you have already. Amazing, right? So, whatever you have now, focus on that and choose thoughts that will generate the wanting feeling of what you already have, not what you don't have already or what you don't have yet. Don't focus on what you don't have yet. Focus on what you have already. What do you have that you can be grateful for? That's the secret to happiness, success, and thriving, my friends. I hope you are encouraged. If this podcast blessed you in any way, please leave me a review, and please kindly share this podcast with somebody else so that I can get my message out to many, many more people. Okay, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. I'll see you back here on the next episode. Hey, very quickly before you go, if you are ready to finally fix your relationship with money so that you make lots and lots of it while feeling joyful, abundant, free, and fulfilled, then I invite you to join my 2-day Income Accelerator event, where I will personally teach you how to accelerate your income while having more joy in your life. And did I mention it's free? Yes, it's free. The link is in the show notes. I'll see you there. Bye bye.